Hi, in this video I will be reviewing the movie I Am Anis, which is a very interesting movie. It's a story about rebellion, repercussion and redemption. So the story centers on the character Anishola Williams. So the movie is divided into like three parts. First part of the movie talks about her early teenage years where she was like a very rebellious child to her father. So it was just her and her dad. She didn't listen to her dad, she didn't go to school, she was just a very problematic child growing up. And that first part of it, we get to see how rebellious she was in her actions and in the way she spoke to her dad, and how headstrong she was in doing what she wanted to do. The second part of the movie, we get to see the repercussions of this rebellious nature of hers. So she gets to meet this guy Bobby, who she claims loves her and spoils her with money and gifts. So she gets pregnant for this guy Bobby, and of course she can't go to school. Her father is upset with her, he throws her out of the house. So that's second bit, to get to see her dealing with the consequences of her action. And the third part of the movie is more like a redemption part for her, because after all she went through, there seems to be like a light at the end of the tunnel for her. She gets to meet this guy William, who gives her like a second chance at life, who gives her like new dreams, a way to aspire to do better for herself and for her child. So she gets to have like a do-over of her life. She's given a second chance at life. She goes to school, she becomes successful. So it's just like a very interesting blend, getting to see her in three different phases of her life. The movie is quite relatable, because we hear a lot of stories about girls that are being taken advantage of by guys who promise them heaven and earth, and teenage pregnancies and the consequences that follows afterwards. And that's basically the gist of the movie. It's a story that everybody needs to see. Every girl, every child, every boy, everybody needs to see, to learn certain things from the movie. To know that we should not be so quick to judge people, but we should be ready to correct, support, and lend a helping hand to somebody. Because this movie is produced and directed by Biodun Stephen, and apparently it's a true life story from real event. So for the actors in this movie, we have the character, the younger Anishola, or Justina, who they used to call Juicy J back in her prostitution days. She was played by Lina Idoko. I really like this babe, carried this movie on her back. Like, she did so well. Like, scenes with her in this movie was so intense, from her acting out towards her dad, from her relationship dynamic with her boyfriend Bobby, to her and her friend Divine, to her now trying to start living on her own and caring for herself. Like, the lady really acted that rebellious teenage girl, confused, naive, that was easily swayed by men, and she didn't really have like a mind of her own. She wasn't guided properly, and she just went the way she wanted to go. She just thought like her way was right and what she was doing was right, so she didn't regard her dad's instructions and warnings towards her. But this babe did so well in this movie that she gave such a 10/10 performance on this role, because honestly, like, so much emotions, rage, sadness. Like, at a point you get to feel for her. You'll be like, oh, if she had known better, I'm sure she would have taken a different step, but things worked out for her well, although that is not always the case in situations like that. Then the older Anishola was played by Shaffy Bello. We know this woman is a phenomenal actress. She did so well. So while she's much older now, I think she's a philanthropist. Like, she's like a popular woman in business. Like, she's somebody people look up to, and nobody really knows that she has this past. Everybody has a past, but nobody knows the extent of how dark her past is. But her past comes creeping in when her son wants to get married, and secrets from the past just come to light, and she has to deal with that and explain to her son what her life was back then. But Shaffy Bello did so well in this movie. Then we get to see her son David, who was played by Mr. Macaroni. So he didn't really do it for me in this movie. I think somebody else could have easily played the son, but he did okay. There was nothing exceptional about his performance, and it was just really upsetting that the way he switched up on her when he found out what had happened. Like, I expected him to give her grace. Like, at least your mother, you've been and lived with your mother all your life. Like, at least let her explain, don't just cut her off. But I guess it is a very bitter pill to take, how people are calling your mother Juicy J. She was the talk of the town back then, this that is quite a lot to take in. But I expected it was just a bit I don't know, it just did not sit right with me. And even the scene where he came and was talking to her later on, his emotions were not really giving like that of a son that, you know, knows he has hurt his mother and he's being sympathetic towards that and, you know, wants to do better. But he did good in his role. Then we get to see, I think, his girlfriend, the girl he was to marry in this movie, who was played by Debbie Felix. She did okay. She was just, it was of course a supporting character, but she did good in her role. She was very understanding and very, you know, supportive of the whole situation, which was interesting to see. And of course, her mother, who was Tina Mba in this movie, she was surprisingly comfortable. She was surprisingly chill about the whole situation. Like, I did not expect that. I expected her to be a bit against, like, after that information comes, I didn't really think she would be as supportive and understanding towards Anishola, but she was, which was good. Then the nosy uncle, who was played by Charles Inojie, he was just typical, you know, nosy, problematic uncle that just comes to family functions to cause chaos. He did his thing. Then we have the guy, Mr. Williams, who was her savior in this movie. Like, you won't expect things to pan out the way they did. He was somebody, I guess, you know, that was put into her life to give her a second chance at life. Because like everything he did for her, he didn't want anything in return. He was just really happy that, you know, she was aspiring to do more. She was aiming for greater things. Like, she should not be in that bubble of, you know, just trying to sleep with people to get by. That, okay, she didn't finish school, you can finish school, like your life is not on hold. Like, he was just there to guide her, to support her and show her like there's another way to do things, not just what you are used to. Like, you can actually aim for bigger and better things, like dream big, and you're allowed to dream big despite, you know, how rocky your past was or how rocky your life was. It was just very beautiful to see that, you know, this guy was more or less like a god sent, like an angel to her life that she really needed. And hopefully people in such situations get to meet someone like that will just shine a light in their dark life. To get to see her father. Watching the movie, you get to understand why she was rebellious. She felt like after the death of the mother, the father was a bit distant, so like they both needed to support, like lean on each other, but her father just was a bit distant for her, so she did not know how to deal with the grief. She just switched it to being like a rebellious child. She was already far gone before her father started reaching out, so there was no communication, there was no connection between the both of them, and that was just hard for her to do it. But the dad did really good in his role. You get to see her friend, her, you know, secondary school friend Divine, who was played by Martha Ehinum. She did, like, I really liked seeing her in this movie, although she didn't have like a lot of scenes, but she was like a very, you know, serious student at school, was like a good friend to her. Of course, I wanted the best for her. Biodun Stephen was also in the movie. She played, I think, the pimp, the madam in charge of the brothel where, you know, Justina used to work out. So yeah, it's a simple storyline. It's something we are familiar with, it's something we've heard about before, but we just get to see that we should not be so ready to judge and, you know, cut people down and shut people off because of, you know, how their past is or because of the life they are living. Like, sometimes people are just living the life fate has dealt them. They don't pick or choose, they don't have the choice, but they have to live with that and live with consequences of the actions and decisions that they've made. Like, it's an eye-opening movie, really and truly, and it's something that everybody should know, that every decision you make has its own consequences. It's a very, you know, wholesome story generally. Like, I liked how everything ended. Like, yes, everybody has a past, some good, some bad, but that does not define you today. That does not define your future. Your past is just like where you have been, but your future is where you're going. So a lot of people have, you know, things that they had to do to get by, but that does not define the person that they are or who they are going to be. So just that type of movie that makes you know that we don't need to judge people, we don't need to point a finger at somebody and say you're this, you're that. You know, like, we should do better, we should support, we should love, we should correct, we should help in any way we can. And yeah, I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed the evolution of this character, Anishola, and, you know, how she got to do better, she got to change, she got to know that there's a better way to do things and there's a better approach to take on life. And yeah, it's just very beautiful to see that, yes, everybody has the chance or the opportunity to choose to do good or to do bad. Like, you just have to make the conscious efforts every day to choose to do good and choose to be good to yourself and to people around you. So have you seen the movie I Am Anis? Go check it out. If you watched the movie, let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, do subscribe. Check out my other videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.